What if the detail everyone glossed over on Monday night is exactly the one that could tilt Sunday? What if the moment we all celebrated at the goal line came with a cost we didn't fully clock in real time? And what if that cost shows up not in a headline, but in the way Cleveland's backs fall forward for an extra half yard, the kind that turns 3rd and 2 into a chain-moving march? You felt that, right? The tiny shift in the air the day after Baltimore. The whisper that wouldn't go away in Allen Park. Something's different this week, and the scoreboard won't care whether we noticed it on time. I'm going to be straight with you. This isn't drama for clicks. It's urgency because the matchup demands it. I'll walk you through what changed inside the building, how it affects run fits on early downs, who has to wear the green dot responsibilities when the field condenses, and how Detroit can still control this game with tempo and leverage. We'll also talk trench health, special teams ripple effects, and the one adjustment that could steal you a possession in the second quarter. No spoilers yet. If you stick with me, you'll know exactly where the stress points are and how the Lions can turn them into pressure points on the Browns. Welcome back to Lions News. Fan Report, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a like so more Detroit diehards get this breakdown before kickoff. This community is built on honest football talk with receipts, scheme, personnel, matchups, and the small edges that decide January teams. Let's go to work. Zoom out with me for a minute. Monday was heavy football. Blood and bruises football. Situational toughness at the goal line. Third-level rallies that turned chunk plays into May gains, and a defense that kept answering the bell. But the tax for that kind of night always gets paid on a short week. Tuesday, you rehydrate. Wednesday, you negotiate with your body. Thursday, you hope the picture clears. Friday, it either does, or at DOESN single quotes T. Cleveland does what Cleveland does. They live in cold weather football, even when the calendar says September. Downhill angles, play action that leans on your linebacker's eyes, and a commitment to muddying your safety's reads. They don't need 50-yard fireworks to win. They need 4 yards to turn into 5, then 5 into 6. Until your DC has to pull a gap from Peter to pay Paul. That's why this week's detail matters. Because the detail is right in the middle of where the Browns want to live. Detroit's identity travels. Dan Campbell's teams do not blink in a street fight. Aaron Glenn leans into structure, then lets his playmakers hunt. The formula is not a secret. Win first down, earn second and 8. Unleash third down chaos with simulated pressure and tight man rules. That formula still works on Sunday. But it works only if the middle of the defense communicates like a choir and tackles with their hips through the ball carrier. The tiny stuff. Depth at the snap, hands inside, leverage outside in. All week, the signs were there if you read them like a beat reporter. Wednesday felt cautious. Thursday sent a little jolt. By Friday, the language from the building shifted into availability, management, and we'll know more later. That's not panic. That's the reality of the NFL's hamster wheel. There are weeks you coach around absences, and you have to be right on the chessboard before the pieces even move. Here's what we're going to dissect today, play by play. How Detroit can use heavier personnel on early downs without becoming predictable. Why motion at the snap can help the offense buy favorable angles, even if the tackle room isn't at 100%. Where special teams have to patch a coverage roll and keep field position from bleeding away. And the single most important coaching point on defense this week. Fit outside zone with patience, not panic. We'll also spotlight 2 veterans trending the right way and 1 young player who has to treat. Sunday like a job interview. 1 more layer before the headline you think you're ready for. Goal line stands are highlight reel material, but they're also stress tests. They ask linebackers to take on violent contact with minimal runway, to shed, square, and stall momentum in a phone booth. When you rewatch Monday's tape, notice who stuck his nose in and reset the line when Baltimore tried to smash the door. That rep was worth more than 6 points. It told you about a mindset. And it also set up the very thing we're talking about now. Okay? Deep breath. You wanted the truth, not the tease. You earned it by staying here through the context. Here's the news you came for, and the reason this breakdown exists in the first place. Linebacker Zach Cunningham is out for Sunday with a hamstring. He was limited when the week began, did not go on Friday, and the staff has ruled him out. That goal line stop you loved on Monday? Same guy. The middle of the defense just lost a steady communicator and a downhill finisher against a team that forces you to prove you can tackle in the alley 10, 12, 15 times. This isn't catastrophic, but it is consequential. Now let's map the ripple. First, early downs. You may see Detroit tighten the rotation and lean on heavier fronts to close A and B gaps, especially against the Browns' bread-and-butter looks. Expect the safeties to play a hair more force-conscious, which means corners must be disciplined with crack replace. In sub-packages, you can mitigate some of the loss with speed on the field, think more dime against obvious pass, less against the play-action tweener downs where Cleveland loves to mess with linebacker eyes. And don't be shocked at the green dot baton passes situationally to keep communication clear across personnel groupings. Second, complementary football. The offense can help here. Early tempo to fatigue their front. Split flow looks to stretch second-level keys and a screen or two to punish over pursuit. If Taylor Decker's shoulder needs managing, as it has, structure protections with chip help on known problem rushers, then attack the voids they vacate. You win this game by keeping yourself on schedule, not by forcing hero ball. 4 yards, then 5, then a shot when you've earned it. Third, special teams. With a defensive back also out this week, the core 4 units will shuffle. That matters in a field position game. Clean operation on punts, smart directional choices, and sure tackling on coverage. Those hidden yards add up fast when you're trying to protect the middle of your defense from playing 70 snaps. If you can keep Cleveland starting in the shadow of their own goalposts, your front can hunt and your DC can dictate. Fourth, the pass rush tie-in. If Al-Quaid Muhammad is trending the right way, his edge discipline is currency. Set a hard edge, spill back inside help, force Cleveland to beat you left-handed by stringing runs east-west. A disciplined edge also compresses play-action windows and gives your second level just that extra half-beat to read high to low. Monday proved he can ruin drives with effort and angle alone. If he's up, his snaps will matter double because of what's happening behind him. Let's be crystal on the line between fact and analysis. It's a fact that Cunningham is out for Sunday, that a running back and a defensive back are also out, and that a tackle and a defensive end are questionable going in. It's also a fact that this opponent wants to win in the exact piece of the field where a veteran linebacker's absence is felt most. Everything beyond those statuses, the rotation choices, the mix of fronts, how the call sheet shifts on second and medium, that's my read and projection base on what this staff has shown and the opponent's tendencies. If the game tilts, it'll tilt on execution of those little things. So what does winning look like now? On defense, cap explosives and win with body blows. Accept that Cleveland will get their 2s and 3s. Deny the 6s and 7s. Rally, wrap, roll hips, finish. On offense, stack first downs, control cadence, and make them defend horizontal stress before you strike vertical. Turn 3rd and 5 into your down, not theirs. Possession is protection for your defense and for the scoreboard. If you're nervous, you're human. If you're confident, you're paying attention. This staff has navigated worse and come out with a plan that fits the players available. Sunday becomes a coaching game, a tackling game, and a field position game. And if Detroit handles those 3 lanes, the absence in the middle becomes a storyline we nod at after a win instead of the reason we're explaining a loss. Tell me what you think below. Who steps into the vacuum? And what's the one adjustment you want to see on early downs? I read every comment, and this channel lives on your brain and your voice as much as mine. My opinion, plain and simple, this is a punch we can absorb. It's a blow to communication and physicality, not a knockout. The plan is there to win a trench fight without overexposing the second level, And yes, that's my speculation. Now let's go over to Detroit Sunday.